Welcome to The Confident Networker with your host, Simone Douglas. In each insightful episode, she chats with one of the leading people from the BNI and business world.
Alrighty, so on this episode of the Confident Networker podcast, I'm joined by my very good friend, Jason Wright from Essential Property Management. Hello.
Hello there.
Thanks for coming along today.
Thank you.
So Jason is a member of BNI Achievers that meets on Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Just for the listeners who don't know you as well as I do.
Sure.
How long have you been in BNI for?
In February next year, it'll be 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
still pretty
gone
new.
very quick.
It has
for
gone
me.
quick. But it feels like forever.
Global pandemic, those kind of things. But tell us a little bit about your business, what it is that you do, its evolution, because I know you've had some pretty extensive growth recently.
Sure. So our mum started our business about 12 years ago. Mm-hmm. I joined the business, 12 years ago actually, in October. So mum must have started it nearly 13 years ago. I joined the business and we grew really rapidly, just her and I in our lounge room. And at one stage we had 6 people in our team. Mum and I always said that if we weren't getting along or it affected our mum-son relationship, we would
choose not to work together.
Correct. Yeah. And so we made that decision back in early 2015 and started the breakdown or separation or split of our company. Mm-hmm. At that time, I was offered an opportunity to go and work for 10 days in commercial property management in Queensland.
Yeah.
So I did that. If you've ever been to the Sunshine Coast, you see that ocean, and I saw that ocean, and that was that. Mm-hmm. And I spent 5 years on the Sunshine Coast.
Right.
And that was the best thing I did for our company, for myself, and for my mum's and my relationship.
Yeah.
And I realised that my mum was right. I did have tons to learn, and I went and learned it myself.
Yeah, nice.
Without my mum fixing my mistakes all the time, and put lots and lots of money into my personal and professional development of my own money rather than my mum's.
Yeah, got it.
And it changed everything. And so I came back into the business very early in 2019 with the idea of mum retiring.
Yeah.
During that process, we realised she doesn't want to retire. So rather than me buy her out, let's double or nothing.
Yeah.
And so we put the business on the line to acquire another business, and that's supposed to settle this coming Monday, but that's been delayed about a month. But we've tripled the size of our business.
Wow.
So by Christmas this year, we'll be 1,000 properties under management with a team of 10. And that's really exciting.
Pretty significant.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is
exciting. The future
exciting.
is exciting.
Oh, so how important then is networking to your business?
I think it's extremely important. And the reason I think it's really important is because networking is a group of people that trust you, that do your advertising for you.
Yeah.
And so it allows me to do day-to-day stuff. The one thing I love about BNI is I rock up to an appointment where it's been referred to me within BNI. I know I'm getting the listing. I know I'm not being competed against.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to be asked about reducing my fees because someone else has raved about me before I get there.
Well, and that's so true, because sometimes people will send me a message and they'll be like, you must know a property manager. And I'm like, yep, you can go speak to Jason. And it's an easy deal. They're just like, Simone said, I need to talk to you. Oh, okay.
Correct. That's exactly right. And they're prepared to listen to your advice.
Yeah.
And the other great thing about them is they're usually people that are experiencing real pain points, hence the conversation.
Yeah.
So the fact that I get to the immediate, what's your pain point?
Yeah.
And this is how we'd fix it. That changes everything.
Yeah. I think too, I often find that referral business, the pipeline from meeting to decision is just like this, so much shorter in terms of, those things. Different when you're making an introduction, it's a long-term thing. But in terms of networking.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best piece of networking advice you've ever been given?
Probably from you, which is just go in and listen about what I can do for them. I think the mistake that people make when they're networking is what I can get from the person versus what can I do for you so that you feel obligated. And obligated is probably the wrong word, but they certainly, if I help them with authenticity, they help me in return.
Well, absolutely, and they remember.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is, you know, and you and I have running Facebook chats these days, or text message, or whatever else it might be, but it's fostering and creating that relationship where you know you can lean on each other and ask an honest question, get an honest answer is just invaluable.
Which is the second thing that I was going to say, which I think I've learned from myself, which is truly just honesty and integrity.
Yeah.
And I say to people, it's my best quality, it's my worst quality.
I have the same problem.
But you absolutely know where you stand with me every minute of every day. And sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad.
Yeah.
But I do it with the absolute intent of us both improving.
Yeah, absolutely, which is great. What is the best introduction or referral that you've received so far and why?
Funnily enough, and I don't know if you recall, but one of your referrals came to me because, and I've gone completely blank. Alex.
No. Alex, yeah.
So Alex's was selling his apartment.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I had it listed for rent. Yeah. And then the selling agent in our chapter, Nick, sold it. But because normally a selling agent rarely refers to a property manager because they have that in their own office. So it's considered a conflict. However, because I was already in, he honoured that and gave me the buyer's contact. Yeah. So I got the buyer's contact. That buyer and I have become incredible, almost I would say friends. Mm-hmm. He had previously bought 2 other properties prior to meeting Nick, which I now manage. He's bought 2 since that day, which I now manage. Yeah. He's on the way to his 6th purchase, and he's referred me a friend who's purchased in one of the buildings he's purchased in. So that's awesome. one lead by chance from you that became a lead from a
Nick,
referral from Nick has led to 7 managements.
Wow, and I mean that's really how BNI works though. Like you make the introductions without knowing where things are going to go in life. So I love that story. It's great, and I had no idea. I do remember, have a vague recollection of you saying, "Oh, yep, I've picked that up for management after it was sold." But that was about it. So, what has been, or what is the thing that you look forward to the most in this kind of structured networking environment that is your BNI chapter?
Well, I think what appealed to me in the very first instance, because BNI is not the first Brentford chapter I've been to. I did a couple on the Sunshine Coast with less structure, and I hate structure, but I perform best. And I perform best within structure. I'm a deadline guy. If you give me till midnight, I'll do it at 11:59.
Oh, so that's not just me. Okay.
Yeah. So, so 80% of the arguments in my office between my mum and I are about the fact that she does it on Monday when it's due on Friday, and I do it on Friday because it's due on Friday. Yeah. But it's the same for BNI. I do it and I deliver on it because it's an obligation that I agreed upon. Yeah. So as long as you follow the structure, you'll render results. Yeah,
that makes sense too. So if you bumped into somebody at a networking event that wasn't BNI, and they went, I've been invited to this BNI thing, I don't know if I'm going to go or not, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I think I'm just going to repeat myself, to be honest, which is if you perform best under pressure and you take achieving goals because you've set them for yourself or been set them by someone else, then BNI is absolutely the right thing for you. If you go about your life generally and don't achieve the goals you've set for yourself because you don't take the goals you set yourself seriously, then it probably isn't for you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think too, what I liked about it when I found BNI 9 years ago, and I always love saying, I was invited by someone who I fired, which is hilarious. It's why you should maintain relationships. Don't ever burn your bridges because you just don't know. So when I say fired, we decided he'd find success elsewhere collaboratively. But I just went, oh my God, there are rules to this thing. There's a system. I can, all of a sudden networking is not so confusing or terrifying because I'm actually an introvert. I don't people very well at volume at all. I do now because BNI's given me rules of engagement. That's fine. If I know what the rules are, I'm all good. So I got really excited about, there's accountability. There's things that I have to do. That's great. I still flew by the seat of my pants in terms of timelines because, absolutely. But the other thing too is, what if I've been invited to this BNI thing? I've got no intention of joining it. Do you still want me to come and visit your chapter?
The answer to that for me is yes. And I think there are a few reasons. You're still a consumer, and I've got in my chapter 13 colleagues other than myself that might have a product that you may need the services of. And more importantly, you're still probably in business yourself, and there might be an opportunity for one of my members to collaborate with you anyway because that business is not inside my chapter already. So I always think yes, and I'm not great at bringing visitors. That's one of my weaknesses inside the thing, but I still absolutely see value in it.
Yeah, I think I get so excited about the members that I know within the region. So, and I'm probably spoiled in that 184 members. That I'll meet someone, I'm like, oh my God, so I'm going to this chapter next week and you absolutely need to come and meet this person. You guys will just get along and there are so many synergies. And so I always end up like going, just come meet this person. I don't care if you join. Often people who are invited, they're like, are you trying to sign me up to your BNI? And I go, no, but I'm going next week. Do you want that introduction or not? And they're like, yeah, no, of course I do.
Yeah.
And the amount of times, hilariously, that they ring me up 3 days after the meeting and go, well, am I allowed to apply? Because I quite liked it. And I'm like, you can do what you like. I've done what I said I would do. Yeah. So we're good. What you choose to do after that is up to you. Yeah. Absolutely. So I guess, in the context of BNI, you have this rapidly growing business. It's like 1,000+ rent roll coming your way into your head and systems and processes. If the right person was listening to this podcast today and you could sit down and have a coffee with them or a glass of wine or, but sit down and have a real conversation, it would help you tick off a business bucket list, who would that be?
That's a really great question, and I think there are probably two answers to it. One would be that for me, anyone listening from a business perspective that works in the self-managed super space, who spends a lot of time advising clients to buy properties within their super fund or within their personal entities, they would be a terrific referring partner for me. So I'd love to talk to anyone like that.
You'll have to share that story though before you go on to your second one, because I think this is awesome. So tell us a little bit about that company that you work for that just does self-managed super funds and how many of their clients you look after. And
so I manage about 60 clients for them right now, and in my old business model that accounted for about 25%. But that came about from a client who found me on on white pages
Yeah.
back in the
Back in
day,
the day, yeah.
or possibly yellow pages
Yeah.
back in the day. And she said, I'm taking delivery of this brand new house. I live in New South Wales. And I said, well, I'll go do your pre-handover inspection for you. And because Mum and I had done so many new build handovers ourselves in the past, we went there with the little red stickers and put it and sent her photos. This is before video was a thing, so we sent her some photos. And then the self-managed super fund that she works for, that she was affiliated with, said, oh, you've got this great service. And so that led to more referrals. And now we're their preferred supplier in South Australia, which is exciting.
And you've been doing that for how many years though now?
Nine
Yeah,
years.
so you must be doing something right.
Yeah, correct.
And I love it when you find niche markets where you just yep, I own that space.
Yeah.
And I can make whatever provider refers me look amazing with their clients. It's the best.
Correct. Yeah. And the other fantastic thing is, because they use a cookie cutter model of the kind of product they're associated with, you can take the gamble on one of them and go, right now the market's really hot in South Australia, so rents are going up anywhere between $40 and $80 a week. Yeah. So I can test it on one. Yeah. And then call the other 50 owners with really great news and go, hey, I just got $40 a week extra or $50 a week extra, and be able to say it confidently because you've already tested it, which is super exciting.
So, second request for coffee.
The second request for coffee for me would be, I've been on stage with Tony Robbins in the past, and it was a really life-changing moment for me where I learned there's always another way. But if the opportunity presented itself to have one-on-one time with him, where it wasn't intrusive, so I was able to say, when there isn't another way and you've exhausted everything and you just want to give up and you don't, what do you do to keep going?
Nice. Cool. So, people, I know lots of you actually know Tony Robbins quite well, so pony up. I know his schedule's busy. I'm sure Jason will make himself available in a way that fits
anytime.
Otherwise, if you come across a local company that deals with self-managed super funds and they want to come along, Jason would be happy to host them over breakfast and introduce you to some of his fellow chapter members. Or you can reach out to Jason. All of his links are in the comments. Thanks very much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for listening to The Confident Networker. You can find more episodes and information at bnian.com.au/podcast.